Hey guys, I just want to let you know why I'm doing this video. Um, when I was learning how to play Texas Hold'em many years ago, I looked on YouTube to find a video on how to practice Texas Hold'em. By myself, I want to be able to practice and get ready for a tournament, get the juices flowing, get my mind in the right frame of mind. Just kind of try to feel things out a little bit, warm up, so to speak. And I think that's a good idea for any poker player. I'm no pro by any means, but I play probably three to four times a week in tournaments, and that's been in the last 3 or 4 years. So I've done quite a bit of poker, and I think that this is probably the best practice I could possibly do before a tournament. And I do just this that I'm going to show you here in a minute for about an hour before any buy-in. For any buy-in tournament, I'm going to do this for about an hour. Sometimes I watch, my TV's right over here, sometimes I watch professional poker while I'm doing my practice. Sometimes I play music, sometimes I just go with the silence, okay? But with that said, let me tell you what your tools are for this practice. Number one, you have to have a card, a deck of cards, a cut card, so you're going to be playing just like you would in the casino. A quarter, I use a quarter. You can use pretty much, you can use a button if you wanted, but it's for the dealer button. You can just use any kind of marker. I use a quarter. And this will rotate around the table as I'm practicing. I'm going to rotate it out after every hand of practice. So the action and the feel of the action rotates around the table just like it would in a tournament. I have this nifty little piece of wood that I wrapped some material on and glued it on the back side with some material glue. And this little table has served me very well for a long time. The only other thing I would think you may want to have as far as a tool is concerned is a strategy. You could have a betting strategy, partial betting strategy, but this particular strategy is your best starting hands. And any book you get will have the hands you really should be starting as a rookie all the way through very experienced players. They'll kind of tell you what you should and should not be playing up front. This book right here is one that I used. This does not have my strategy in it because I've altered it from this book. My strategy is a little bit different. It suits my style of playing, and I do okay with my strategy, but it's based off of this book. This is the Poker Player's Bible, and that's by Lou Krager. So anyway, that's a good book. I would recommend it. There's a lot of other really good books as well that are out there, and they basically say about the same thing. So you can probably pretty much pick up any book at the library, and it's going to have some strategy in there and also give you some starting hands that you can work with. So I kind of keep that up here. I don't take that with me, obviously, to play poker. I'd probably get laughed out of the place. But I do when I practice, it's always right here, so I can refer back to it. Anyway, this is how I go about my practice. I shuffle the cards. I start out being the dealer, okay? And I'm going to deal out 7 other fictitious hands. Now, I'm dealing out 7 more fictitious hands because the next tournament I'm going to be in, the tables will be have 8 players on them. If I'm going to a casino, I know there are going to be 10, so I would play, my practice would have 9 other fictitious players at my practice table, okay? So just so you know, whatever tournament you're going to go into, you want to practice with the numbers and kind of alter that. And if I know that I'm maybe a little weak on head-to-head play, maybe I'll just play 2 hands for a while, just to kind of get the feel of the odds that come out of the deck. Okay. So anyway, we're going to go ahead and start. What I do is I put the cards down in order they come. That's small blind, big blind, out of the gun, Here comes your mid cards. Here comes your late cards. Here's your latest card, your position, okay? And away you go, okay? You deal everybody 2 cards. And this is just like you were playing an 8-handed game of poker. Think of it as a 8-handed game of poker. Who's going to act first here, okay? Who's going to, the first to act will be this 9-2, which is under the gun. And he's going to throw those in because that is not a playing hand. 9 deuce, not a playable hand. 10 queen suited, that's a playable hand, so I'll leave that right there, okay? Next one, Jack 3, not a playable hand. So these are all my folded hands over here. I keep them up so I can see what, so I can play woulda, coulda, shoulda a little bit. I shouldn't do that. That's really bad to do, but the 9-7 offsuit is actually a playable hand, okay, in my strategy. Jack deuce is not a playable hand, okay? 9 deuce, again, is not a playable hand. This is your small blind right here. Jack 6. Now it really is not a playable hand, but because I've already got money in there, I might call. That might call. You never know. I know a friend of mine actually plays that all the time. Why, I don't know. It's not a playable hand in my opinion. Here's the big blind. It's a king deuce. I'm only playing because I'm already invested in the hand. Unless these other hands raise, that king 2 is going to go, okay, check. Let me see a flop. So keep in mind that under the gun, which was right here, would have the first option to bet before the flop. Okay, so if he raised, what would these guys do? You kind of want to run that through your mind. What if this person raised with his Jack 6, what would that do to the rest of these players out here? Probably get rid of your 9-7 and your king deuce, and your 10 queen would probably stick around. So you kind of play with some scenarios out there. Kind of think about what if this person did that. How would the rest of the table react if they were playing sensibly? Okay, but let's go ahead and give us a flop. We got an 8 of spades. 3 of spades, 3 of clubs. Now there's no 3 on the table, there's no 8 on the table, so that didn't help anybody. That was a dead flop, okay? But my Jack 6 is the first to bet, and he actually got a flush draw. He did get a flush draw, Jack high flush draw. Is that something that he's the first to act? So he might check that, or he might say, you know what, I believe I'm going to get a spade flush. So I'm going to bet it. What would that do? What would those 2 decisions do to the rest of the table? If he just checked, what would the rest of the table do? Would they check behind him? Probably. But what if he bet? What would that do to the rest of the table? So you kind of think of all the scenarios of what if Jack 6 said, hey, I'm going to go ahead and bet it. No one really bet, came out and went all in before the flop or anything. So, did anybody hit that 3? I don't know, for a trip 3. So let's see our turn. We got another club, which is a 5. Still did not hit any hand out here, okay? We have 2 clubs, so now our queen 10 has a club flush draw, and we have spade flush draw back down there. Now we might have some betting going on. You never know. I mean, these 2 flush draws might really feel full of it at this point, so they might give us some betting. So what if that Jack 6 bet? At this point, the king deuce would probably go away, and the 9-7 would probably go away too. Although the 9-7 with the 5-8, all he needs is a 6, or he has a gut shot, straight draw. But with all these flushes out here, I don't know. Okay, so let's see what's going on here with our last card. We got a club. Guess what that just did? That just gave my queen 10 the flush, a nice flush, queen high flush. Okay, so it's coming around to our Jack 6 again. What is he going to do? Well, he says, well, I missed. I'm going to check. Well, so would the king deuce, and our queen 10 would say, no, I'm not checking. I've got the big flush. That's going to take everybody off the board, and you won. They won the club flush right there. Okay. So just so you know, that's where we were. So that's what I do to practice, and I do this for an entire hour before before a tournament. And obviously, the only thing that's changing now is I take my quarter and move it right over here to the next position for the next hand. And I start off small blind, big blind, under the gun, and everything shifts down by one. I found that this type of practice definitely helps me get my mind into the game, gets the juices flowing before I even get there. So when I get to a tournament, I'm definitely not cold. I am not cold-minded. I really I'm ready to play poker. My every cell of my body is telling me, hey, it's time to play poker. Let's go. And that's the kind of attitude you need to have when you play poker too, and that'll help you out a bunch. But knowing your strategy and practicing your strategy too will help. This will help do that and solidify. I didn't have to refer to my strategy very often in that hand to know what was a playing hand and what's not. And think about it, I'm playing 8 different hands. So I'm getting 8 times the practice in one hand. So it's just practice, but it does help. So if you like what you see in here, drop me a note. If you have a practice video that you think that does well for you, I'd like to know what you're doing to help, and maybe I can get a little more ideas on my thing here. Just for practicing Texas Hold'em. Yeah, just go ahead and share this with your friends. If you like it, give me a like down below. Do everything but send me $20. Anyway, have fun playing poker. Hopefully this all helps out and you guys have a good time. All right, see you later. Bye.